To another edition of TalkingWithHeroes.com, traveling across America. We're here at the American Legion Foreign Affairs Conference in Washington, D.C. I am Bob Calvert, your host on www.talkingwithheroes.com, our online news site, thankyoufforyourservice.us. We're going to be interviewing a whole bunch of American Legion veterans here, and they're going to be giving shout-outs to the troops. But before we do that, I want to bring from behind the camera Mark LaFrancis. He's a 23-year Air Force veteran, now teaming up with me here. We're Talking with Heroes. Come on around, Mark. Told you I'd get you here in front of the camera.
Thanks, Bob. Appreciate it.
Why don't you introduce yourself, talk a little about, real briefly about your service and what you do.
I'm Mark LaFrancis. I'm from Natchez, Mississippi. I'm a 23-year Air Force veteran, 4 years active, 19 years Guard and Reserve. Proud of every day of it. And I want to say I am blessed to have been interviewing soldiers from Iraq and Afghanistan and their loved ones for the past 6 years and learning their fabulous stories. We have some fabulous, fabulous people who are serving in uniform. The warriors over there and the warriors are at home who are taking care of them. And it is a wonderful experience. And I thank you, Bob, for what you're doing. And we're teaming up, by the way, to work more projects on behalf of our veterans and their families, and to help bring to America the voice of the voiceless, and those are our people in uniform. Thank you very much.
We're going to be taking another trip. We're not going to say when yet, but back overseas with the troops together.
That's right.
Okay, and you also an author. Why don't you give your main website?
My website is www.inspiringauthor.org. You'll see all about my projects with the soldiers and loved ones, 2 books of poetry inspired by them, and my Facebook page, In Their Boots, Poems Inspired by Soldiers and Their Loved Ones. And by the way, all of what I do, I work on to raise money for the National Fisher House Foundation, a national nonprofit foundation helping soldiers and their families back here in the United States. It's a fabulous www.fisherhouse.org. Please look it up and contribute, but at least learn about them.
Great. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, so we're going to get started here. I want to first thank my good friend back in Colorado, Colin Clark, greenoxpalette.com. I almost forgot that. And he's a real great friend, supporter of the troops. Also, Andrew Kovalkin with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce here. You'll see later we're going to have some interviews with them. Okay, we're back here with some more veterans, and matter of fact, these gentlemen are with the Sons of Legion, as I am. I didn't serve either, but you're serving through the Sons of Legion now. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm David Stevens, past National Commander of the Sons of American Legion, and I'm on 4 different board of directors for veterans back home in Indianapolis, Indiana, because I'm so proud. It's my way of giving back to our service members, and we just want to say hello and thank you very much for your service.
Great. You work with the Indiana National Guard at all?
I also work with the Indiana National Guard, the Homes for Wounded Warriors program, the Veterans Day Council of Indianapolis, the Veterans Home in Indianapolis, and the Secretary of the Board of Directors for the Indy Veterans House.
Okay.
Cool. And I'm Kevin Collier. I am on National Legislative Commission for the Sons of the American Legion, also the Adjutant for the Sons of the American Legion in Alaska. And so I work hand in hand with the American Legion. I'm working on the veteran issues at national and on the local level, trying to make sure that we get the promises that were given to our veterans fulfilled and keep them up. So
tell our listeners, there may be somebody out there like me that hasn't served. My dad did, obviously somebody in your family. Tell us a little bit about the Sons of Legion.
Sons of the American Legion is an organization, a program of the American Legion, and non-service members. Our eligibility is through we're male descendants of a veteran, and that's how we gain our eligibility. We're in. Wait a minute, blank. I'm glad you can get these out. But the Sons of the American Legion, we're almost 350,000 strong nationwide. And there again, we follow the same programs of the American Legion. Our main goal, of course, is Veterans Affairs and Rehabilitation and Children and Youth programs.
Would you like to give a shout out to the troops?
Oh, yes. Keep up the great job. We appreciate everything that you're doing for us and for the world and keeping peace going on. And thank you very much for everything you do on a daily basis. Thank you.
Thank you very much for everything you're doing. And remember, when you're over there and your family needs help, the American Legion family is here for you. Thank you.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Frank Stancil. I served in the United States Navy from 1959 to 1963. I am now the state adjutant for the American Legion in North Carolina. And I just want to say thank you so much for serving. Thank you for protecting our liberties. And we wish you Godspeed and a safe trip home.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your service to our country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good meeting.
Clarence Bacon. I'm a past National Commander of the American Legion. I served as National Commander 1984-1985. During my military career, I was stationed on 2 presidential yachts, USS Potomac, which was President Roosevelt's yacht, and when he passed away in April 1945, I was on President Truman's yacht, which was the USS Williamsburg. And after I left the presidential yacht, I did a tour on the USS Consolation, a hospital ship, went to Korea, and came back to the United States, went out of the military, went to college in D.C., and went back to work for the Navy Department as a civilian for another 27 years. So that pretty much sums up my career.
What do you do with the American Legion now? And another thing I wanted to ask you is, you know, the people that are serving right now, why should they be becoming a member of the American Legion?
Because it's the largest veterans organization in the world. We have programs unequal to any other in the country. We have 4 basic pillars that we follow: national security and foreign defense, meaning that we want to have a national security position that would deter any aggressor. We have an Americanism program for children and youth and for our patriotic holidays, and we have a children and youth program. And one of our largest programs is VA&R, to take care of veterans and their families that need assistance in preparing claims or getting ID cards to visit VA medical centers or to take care of families in need. We donate huge numbers of scholarships every year. We donate money to families that have small children that are on their own and need some care and attention. And we do many other community-based programs. We donate hundreds of thousands of dollars each year to charity.
And you also send from the post care packages to the troops.
We do. And we have about 14,000 American Legion posts. I'm a member of Greenbelt American Legion Post in Maryland, and we have 147 active posts throughout the state of Maryland. We like to have a Legion post located adjacent or close to every high school in the country. And we have a Boy State program, American Legion baseball. We do an awful lot within the communities in which each post is located.
Absolutely. Really appreciate that, too. And I was mentioning to you off the air, in July 2011, one of the units I was with is from your Maryland National Guard. They was in Baghdad before they came home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we welcome the troops back, and we hopefully are there when we send them off to fight the wars. And I'll tell you, these young people, I live right close to Walter Reed Army Medical Center, or now the Walter Reed National Military Medical Center out in Bethesda, and I visit the troops up there 2 or 3 times a week. And those youngsters, yeah, I'll tell you, they are so enthusiastic and so patriotic that they're the best.
And they really appreciate you.
Well, they appreciate
people that come to see them.
They appreciate having visitors. Yes.
Exactly. Okay, why don't you look at the camera and give a shout out to the troops right now that are still serving, let's say, in Afghanistan and around the world.
Well, I want to thank every member of the armed forces for serving our country in times of need. Your service is really valuable to the people of this country. You protect our interest and our freedom, and we appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Clarence Bacon.
Okay.
I'm rolling.
Okay, would you introduce yourself? First, tell us a little bit about your service to our country.
Sure. My name is Craig Roberts. I'm the Media Relations Manager of the American Legion nationally. Work on K Street, right around the corner from the White House. As a matter, so we keep an eye on these guys. Yep, right around. And spend a lot of my time on Capitol Hill, writing stories, taking photographs, and doing some lobbying efforts as well over there, sort of secondhand through the media.
When did you serve?
I served 1966 to 1982 as a naval aviator.
Okay.
And flew F-4s and F-14s as well.
Pilot.
Yeah, absolutely. Naval aviator.
Naval aviator. Okay.
Naval aviator. You got to be careful.
That right.
Air Force has pilots. We have aviators.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my dad served in the Navy in World War II.
Fantastic.
But he was on an aircraft carrier.
Yep. Both my uncles did. They really inspired me. I have two uncles on my mom's side, both naval aviators in World War II, and they really inspired me. When I was a kid, they told me stories that both chilled me and inspired me and gave me a sense of duty and honor that I figured it was my duty to uphold. So
did they tell the stories over and over again? Because my dad did. We heard you say
they got better and better too. I mean, they got more and more adventurous. The altitudes got higher or lower, depending upon what they were saying, and the enemy got closer and closer and closer, and they shot down more and more Japs every single time. It's incredible. Yeah.
So talk about what you do, because the American Legion is one of the largest, I think the largest veterans organization. I'm not sure.
It's the nation's largest. That's
okay.
right.
Leading the way to support our troops, and you're in a unique position because you see a lot of what's going on.
I do, and I'm very privileged to do that because I do spend a lot of time on Capitol Hill watching congressional hearings and watching our participation, our testimony in it. And one of the things the American Legion does, many people think the Legion is the local post or the American Legion baseball team or guys in a parade wearing silly hats like this, old gray-haired guys like me wearing silly hats and marching around, things like that. It's so much more to it than that. Yeah, there is a community. At the community level, there is that. But what these guys do behind the scenes is truly remarkable. They draft resolutions and send them in state by state to national headquarters. And we go over these. Our National Executive Council does every year. And out of those resolutions come our legislative agenda for the year, which we present to Capitol Hill. Go to the President, as a matter of fact, and on down through Congress to legislative hearings at the Veterans Affairs Committee, both in the House and Senate Veterans Affairs Committees and so forth. And we have a tremendous influence, something I did not realize when I came aboard the American Legion just a few years ago, walking around Capitol Hill, is finding out the tremendous influence and respect that we command on Capitol Hill from senators and congressmen. It's real. And as one senator said to me a couple of years ago, he said, when we see a Legion cap, a blue Legion cap, marching down the hallway, we know we have a job on our hands and some respect to give.
That's good. It's very good to hear that.
Yes, absolutely. And through mass media, for the sorts of things that you were doing, as a matter of fact, so important to get the stories out. Our veterans today represent a tiny minority of our population. It's not like World War II or even Korea, when millions came back. It's a tiny minority of our population. And so their stories get lost. And what they do, the importance of their service, gets lost on the community at large. Because the head of recruiting from the Army a couple of years ago told me at the Pentagon something that I found rather startling, and you probably would too. He had made a tour of high schools around the country, several hundred high schools, and he said out of all the high schools that he visited, he found only a handful, and we're talking about 3, 5, 6 maybe, veterans on the staff and faculty of the high schools around the country. And so we have lost touch as a nation with our military community. It used to be part and parcel, as one or the other, one and the other, but today it's lost. And so the stories are getting lost, the traditions are getting lost, and the importance of service is getting lost right now. Kids today don't grow up with a sense of duty and honor that we did.
I didn't realize till recently the historical nature of what we have on our videos, but it goes all the way back to 2006, and it's all about progress. And it shows why, like Iraq today, people say, well, when the troops leave, it's going to fall apart. It hasn't fallen apart. That's because of the great job our men and women did.
Absolutely. We have a lasting influence. That's another part of the American story that gets lost. We tend to be apologetic. Oh, we're sticking our foot in where it doesn't belong, things like that. No. If you look at history, look at the history of this great country and what we have done to influence the world for the good since this country was founded, it is a tremendous story that should never be lost.
Exactly. Well, I appreciate that. Would you like to give a shout out to the troops? Let's look at the camera.
I watched you guys from above years and years ago, and now I'm down at ground level and appreciate even more what you do each and every day. Guys and gals, you are fantastic, and believe me, there are millions of people back home we're telling your story to, and they respect you and they love you.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Thank you for your service to our
Okay.
country, and you
You
keep
bet.
serving. That's what's really neat.